Hello, artists. We're gonna work on the next step of our paint palettes. So you guys have rolled out your slab, you compressed it and smoothed it with a wooden rib, and now we have let it dry a little bit. So now it's not super squishy, but it doesn't feel chalky or dry. It feels a little bit like leather. This is the stage that we call leather hard, and this is where it's perfect for carving and smoothing. So you can use your fingers to smooth these rough edges. You can also use your tools, whatever feels good to you. And after you get all that done, you'll also want to start carving your wells. So think about where you want them to be. You can plan it out on your template, or you can kind of just go for it. So I am going to use this cone part as a larger paint mixing space. And then I'm gonna do some circles in here. As wells for different colors. If you find that you make a mistake on here, you can usually just kind of wipe it away, smooth that clay back out. All right, so I have a bunch of these tools in the classroom. They're in a plastic box over by where you picked up your low fire clay. And these are great for carving. And the reason that we want to wait until it's at this leather hard stage is then this is a really great firmness for carving this clay out. We're just kind of gently scooping where we want those recesses to be. Since the clay is not as squishy as it was when we first rolled it out and cut out our design, we're not squashing the clay. We're really just able to scoop it. So I will usually go through and carve all of these out and then go back in and smooth them. And if you notice you've got maybe like a little extra space, I see I have extra space here, I could make this bigger. So there's like a sharp angled side and then this round side. These are called ribbon cutting tools or loop tools. There are a lot of different names for some of these things, which can get a little bit confusing. Don't worry, I won't make you watch me carve this whole thing. Be careful not to carve all the way through to the bottom. Happen, I guess you have a little thumb hole holder for your stuff. I'm gonna pause this and try to skip ahead to one where it has a little bit more things carved out already. All right, so I have a lot of these little circles carved out. This might look a little different. I skipped to a different piece that I carved earlier. Once it's pretty well carved, you can start smoothing these indentations out a little bit more. So you can use your fingers for this, or it's probably even easier to get in there with a tool. Make sure you don't leave any sharp edges. There probably will be some tool marks. That is totally fine. So if you look here, you can see that's a little bit bumpy. That's not going to hurt anything. I'll smooth it out the best I can, but I'm also not going to worry about it too much. So you can use any of the plastic tools or whatever you find in the studio that seems like it's going to work well for you. All right, so make sure you do that. Smooth off any bumpy stuff. If you leave like a sharp edge, it's just gonna get sharper. Right now, the clay is kind of soft, so it's not gonna hurt anything. But the clay is gonna become stone. The glaze that we put on top is gonna become glass. And you don't wanna have sharp, glassy edges on your piece. We wanna smooth it as much as possible at this leather hard stage. We don't wanna wait for it to be completely bone dry where it's feeling chalky, because if we try to smooth that out, it's not gonna work very well. There's not enough give to the clay. And if you try to use sandpaper on it, that creates a lot of dust that's really not healthy to breathe and be putting into the air in the studio. We wanna keep our work area as low dust as possible. All right, so just keep at it. Get these nice and smooth to the best of your ability. You'll probably have to take some open lab time to do that. You're probably watching this during an open lab, actually. And if you get it finished, go ahead and wrap this back up because there will be another step, which is adding the coil to the back.